In today's video, the goal is to give a very simple and organic repaint to this Carcharodontosaurus, focusing on very basic airbrushing and dry brushing techniques to try and give this dinosaur a very natural, realistic appearance. I have no pre-planned design in mind or any reference material on hand to go by. I really just want to have the freedom and creativity to just make this up as I go along and see what happens. Oftentimes these types of repaints are the most fun to do, so let's go ahead and get started. Before I start slinging paint on this guy, I need to prep this figure first, and pre-painting prep work is the same as always. Just go around the figure and test out any areas where plastic rubs on plastic. If you see an area like that, carefully trim or sand the material away from the joint until the part can move freely without rubbing against anything. With all the prep done, now I can prime and base the figure in an off-white and then take some red and mix that into the off-white to make a light pink color. And I want to add some warmth to certain areas on the figure, like the underbelly, toes, and the sides of the jaw and gum line. Now it's time to decide what color I want this dino to be, and at this stage, because the dinosaur is a blank canvas, you could potentially go in any color direction you would like. Personally, I'm feeling sort of rusty oranges and browns would look really good on him, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start off first with some ochre thinned down in my airbrush and applied in a thin coat over the top section of the body, and then I'll go in with a rust orange and gradually darken those areas up. With that done, I decided to go back in with that off-white and clean up some of the areas and add a few patterns on the skin, and then go in with some transparent yellow ochre and lightly glaze the lighter areas to help blend everything together. With that done, I'll take some dark brown and do some very light dry brushing over the raised surfaces. The goal is to hit all the raised scales while leaving the cracks in between the scales untouched. Now I'll go in with some transparent brown and start to darken up the ridge line on the back section, as well as the top of the head and the eye sockets. This will be much darker in the end, but I want to make sure I build up to it with layers a little at a time. That way I get a nice natural fade. Now I'm going to switch tools and go in with a fine tip brush and just pick out a few of the scales on the lower jaw, and then go in with my airbrush and accent those areas with a little blast of burnt umber. Now I'll jump in with my final dark tone and finish off the eye sockets, as well as all of the spines along the back. Now it's time to go in and add all of the finishing touches. So I'm going to paint the eyes red, and then I'm going to add a yellow eyeball with a little black pupil. And then I'll add a white light catch to add a little life to the eyeballs, and then give those a coat of gloss varnish to let them shine in the light. I'm not going to fool around with painting the mouth or the teeth on this one. I'm just going to keep those the factory colors that they are. I'll paint the claws black and then take some matte varnish to not only seal the paint in, but to take that shiny finish off of him, because I don't want the skin to have a shiny look to it. I want it to be nice and dull. So the Liquitex matte varnish through the airbrush is going to take that shine right down and give it the dull finish that I want. And while I'm at it, I'll go ahead and customize the capture gear. I've covered this before in the previous Carcharodontosaurus video that I did, except this time I'm going to paint the protective padding with khaki color, and then I'll give the entire thing a black wash, followed by a dry brushing of aluminum to really sort of give it that metallic metal finish. And then if you have some fun stickers on hand, you could just add some caution stickers or whatever you've got, use your imagination here. So I just so happen to have some spare caution stickers that I'm just going to put on it just to make it look cool. And with the capture gear finished, this repaint is done and ready for some cool end of the video pictures. So here is a before and after shot of the dinosaur, and really pleased with the way it turned out. He looks really awesome, very natural, and these are my favorite types of repaints to do. So I'm going to take him over to the photo booth and we'll take some cool pictures. So as always, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and watching these videos. Hope you all learned something and you found the information provided useful and it has helped inspire your next repaint. If it has, remember to tag me over on Instagram at the Jurassic Park Compound, because I always love to see what you guys can come up with. For more Jurassic related content, you know where to find me. Links will be in the description box below. You guys take care, and I'll see you around the compound.